What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, we got to have a conversation about coaching because some of these coaches are wiling and they got to get it together because it is unacceptable. We're going to talk about the allegations and the lawsuits that former Pitt women's basketball players have filed against their head coach. We're also going to talk about some of the games that happened yesterday as well. So, yeah, let's get into it. Quit in the Morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right. Man, right when I started. Hold on. It is so loud. Sometimes y'all be saying it's not loud, but I think it is. It's very loud in my head. Anyway, guys, we got a conversation to talk about, and it involves Pitt. It's a program that I basically never talk about because they're not good. They haven't been good for about a decade. They won't be good for a long time now. And there are some allegations that some former players have alleged against the coach and against the team or against the program as a whole, the former AD, and just a whole bunch of people who are in leadership at Pitt. Because whether you're good or not, coaches should not be hailing verbal insults to their players. So, yeah. Let's just get into it. And I want to actually begin with talking about the role of coaches. Coaches have the ability to build up players. They have the ability to see the talent that players don't see in themselves and bring it out. They have a lot of power. They can help to lift you up. They can help to grow you as a player, as a human being, but also they have the power to absolutely break you down if they want to. And according to 6 former Pitt players, well, things went way, way, way left with the program. So here's what's going on, guys. 6 former players at Pitt have now filed individual federal lawsuits against Pitt and head coach Tory Verdi. Now we're talking allegations of Title IX violations, psychological abuse, retaliation, discrimination, and players basically saying that, hey, the university, they flat out failed to protect us. And this isn't just 1 or 2 people who are unhappy, without playing time. These are 6 players of different ages, of different roles on the team. Some barely played, some were starters, all describing a similar thing in the environment that Coach Tory fostered, allegedly. All right, so let me walk through some of the people involved. Some of the players are actually at other schools now. There's one player that's now at Grand Canyon. You have one player who is still at Pitt but no longer with the team. We got another player that ended up going to Boston College, another player who ended up going to Davidson, and 2 players who ultimately just graduated after last season. They filed 6 separate lawsuits with the same lawyer and similar patterns mentioned in all the lawsuits. It came out this past Friday. All 6 say that the program created an environment filled with fear, filled with retaliation if you dare to speak up and say something. And they're also saying that Pitt leadership, like former AD Heather Like, Jennifer Toscano, and Laurel Gift, they either knew or should have known and did not step in to fix the situation? So yeah, let's get into it, because as I was reading about this, I couldn't believe what I was reading. And first up, shout out to two outlets who I saw do some really, really awesome reporting on this. First up, I gotta give a huge shout out to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. They wrote a really awesome short article talking about it. And we also saw an article. We also saw another article come out yesterday about this similar thing. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I have to talk about this. I know this is not the most, prominent team that I'm talking about, but I think it's important. I really do think it's important to talk about and to make sure that, all of women's basketball gets coverage, and that we are advocating not just for like the top players, like in the SEC and top teams in the SEC, but also in the bottom teams in the ACC as well. All right. Okay. Let's get into it. What are they alleging? Well, there is an allegation. Actually, there's quite a bit of allegations. Also, USA Today is another outlet who wrote a really awesome article about this. So, in multiple of the lawsuits, there was a allegation that Coach Tory said during the 2023-2024 season, after a practice, said that Coach Tory said, quote, to the players, quote, "Every night I lay in bed and I want to kill myself because of you." Now, I don't want to actually say it because I feel like, YouTube and its guidelines probably won't allow that. But you all know what I just spelled, right? Allegedly, that is what he told his players after a practice. Okay? He said, quote, allegedly, quote, "Every night I lay in bed and I want to kill myself because of you," to your players. Now imagine being a college athlete and your coach says that to your face. Now, of course, the players were stunned. They were like, why would you say that? Why would you say that to us? Why would you put that on us? What the heck is that? Yeah, it's crazy. There's also allegations in the lawsuits that say that Coach Tory made a lot of ill-advised comments toward foreign-born players, alleging that he once told a foreign-born player, quote, "Go back to your home because ICE is coming." Now, you all know ICE is the people who deport, people who aren't supposed to be in America, or, deport people. And Coach Tory, quote, allegedly said, "Go back home because ICE is coming," to a player, to his player. Crazy. And then, allegedly, in the lawsuits, it also alleges that he said, quote, "We speak English here," directed to a foreign-born player. And beyond those comments, players said that there was a bigger pattern that players of color were treated more harshly than white teammates, with less patience and fewer opportunities for those players. Also, allegedly, Coach Tory mocked a player who was injured and recovering from injury by telling her, quote, "You look pregnant." Now, that's definitely not something you want to tell a player, an athlete who is hurt, trying to get back together, telling her she looks pregnant. Because I guess she isn't in game shape because she's recovering from an injury. And then probably the worst thing that I saw in the USA Today article about what Coach Tory allegedly said. And again, all of this stuff is alleged in the lawsuits. I am not directly claiming that he said these things, but I am saying that they are claiming he said these things. All right. So probably one of the worst things is that I believe 2 of the articles ended up quoting Coach Tory saying this after a player's father passed away. Saying, quote, "I know you guys were bad basketball players, but I didn't know you were bad people too." What? What does that mean? You know, honestly, I don't even really know what to say to that one. And among all the allegations, there was a common thing saying that Coach Tory weaponized his power to demean players, to gaslight them, to punish them for speaking up, that he helped to create emotional instability among the program. And one of the players actually said that her medical care was mishandled. She was pushed to play while being injured, and she was retaliated against after talking to a team doctor about Coach Tory. And yeah, she was hurt. She was pushed to play while she was hurt. She talks to a team doctor about it. Then the team doctor tells the coach what she said, and her redshirt paperwork ended up getting messed up. And also, Coach Tory said to this player in a private meeting during the summer, quote, "I don't like you as a player, but I'd let you date my son." What is it with all these problematic coaches? I'm just saying, there's a lot of coaches who could be doing a good job in college basketball, and you got people like this who allegedly is telling one of his players, "I don't like you as a player, but I let you date my son." What kind of mess is that, y'all? What kind of mess is that? And yes, he is still the head coach of Pitt. He is still currently the head coach. You can go on their website and see it. He's still the head coach. All right. One of the players ended up reporting a practice violation to the compliance team at the school, and ultimately nothing was done about it. And her complaint wasn't kept confidential, and they didn't do anything. Another player said that when she got hurt, Coach Tory did not speak to her for 6 months after she got hurt. She felt isolated from the team, and her medical and emotional needs were allegedly ignored. As a result to all the things that happened at Pitt, several players said that they needed therapy after their time with the program. And none of them are currently playing for Pitt, though one is still enrolled at Pitt, but not with the team. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because it matters. And look, guys, this isn't the first time we've seen allegations, really bad allegations this season for women's college basketball. Remember the Heidelberg situation that I talked about, a month ago? It was very similar in themes, a coach, allegations. At least in this case for Pitt, there is an actual lawsuit, not the case for Heidelberg. But, it's a coach that a lot of allegations around, and a lot of really bad allegations, and the coach is still there. Now, Pitt is facing its own storm. 2 articles dropped yesterday about this situation. The lawsuits dropped this past Friday. Pitt plays on Thursday against Syracuse, and Now it's time for everybody to watch and see what Pitt does. Right? You have the current players and former players who, need a real response from Pitt. You need the fans of Pitt to get an actual response from the program to have them address what is alleged and what they're going to do about it. Recruits who are thinking about going to Pitt, they're probably looking at this situation like, what in the world? Do I want to play for a coach that his former players are saying this about him? Not really, right? Everyone's watching to see what Pitt does next. And the thing you all need to keep in mind is Pitt hasn't, again, as I said earlier, they haven't been good for over a decade. For about a decade, I should say. And Coach Tory has not changed the trajectory at all. He was actually a really big hire for Pitt. Like he was pretty successful before getting hired to be the coach at Pitt. And since he arrived in 2023, Pitt hasn't had much of a turnaround. They were 8-24 in his first year, 13-19 in his second year, and so far this year they are 8-17 on the season, 1-11 in the ACC. Before he coached at Pitt, he was the coach at UMass and Eastern Michigan. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We will absolutely see what happens. The lawsuits don't look good at all, and the fact that there are 6 separate lawsuits says a whole lot. This is very, very serious. 6 players coming out like this, separately telling a similar story. I don't think it's random. I think it's a pattern, especially the fact that it was federally filed. We'll see how Pitt responds. We'll see what the ACC does, and we'll see what happens with Coach Tory. I will make sure to keep tracking this, and I will keep you all up to date with what is happening, okay? So we'll see. Henry says they're going to stand him down immediately for sure, pending investigation. Here's the thing. The lawsuit came out on Friday. And I mean, we haven't heard, or at least here, let me check Pitt's socials. I haven't seen them say anything about this situation. So Pitt knew about this all weekend. It wasn't like they just found out last night, right? So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think anything has been done about this situation. And it doesn't look like there has been any public comment from Pitt about this situation. El Kune says this stuff is too specific to be made up, and even still, if the players don't like you and don't perform for you, then you have to go. Yeah, they got to do something. They have to do something. Now, again, this is alleged. This is alleged by the players, all right? So, allegedly, this has all happened. Molly says, very serious. He should be fired immediately. If this is true, yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying if this is true and whatnot to make sure I don't get randomly sued. But, I mean, this seems very credible to me. Extremely credible. Extremely credible. Again, 6 different players. 6 different players. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a coincidence. Amelia says, how are you a terrible person and have a terrible record? You gotta pick a struggle. I mean, yeah, it was bad all around. Bad all around for Coach Tory at Pitt. And be a nice person. Like, be a good human being. Don't say to your players that they make you want to kill yourself. Like, don't say that. You know, don't tell a player Don't make comments about ICE to foreign players. Don't be a jerk and try to force players who are hurt to return injured. Right? I mean, these are like common sense things that you think coaches would not do, right? I don't know. Like, it just, don't tell a player that they look pregnant. Like, it's don't tell a player that you don't like them as a player, but you let them date your son. Like, they're just some things that you shouldn't have to be told not to do. I'm just saying. Okay. So we're gonna get off this. This bandwagon. I just wanted to mention that to y'all and let you all know what happened. Here's the thing. Again, this is not featuring a top team, and so I think most people probably won't pay attention to this or care. But I care. I think this is important. I think we should be holding. We should be holding coaches accountable. I think we should be making sure that players feel like they are supported. And when allegations like this come about, we should take them very seriously. And we should ensure that programs take this very seriously as well. And with that being said, let's move on. All right, next up, let's talk about Texas. All right, Texas yesterday took down Kentucky. Final score was 64-53. I mean, this was an uphill battle for Kentucky. You're playing against a very, very physical, a very, very defensively sound Texas squad. And hey, Texas didn't score a ton because they sat down on defense and did all the work on the defensive front, and the offense kind of took care of itself. It was a battle of a game. It was a game where, really good game from Justice Carlson. Shout out to her. But like defensively, all around, Texas is just, they gonna make you work for every little thing you get on the court. And it gets to a point where they're so tough defensively that they end up forcing you to make stupid mistakes. Right? And I just like this team. I think Texas is just so defensively sound. And I just like watching them. I do like watching them. All right? El Kune says Maddie Booker is overrated. I don't think she's overrated. I will say she hasn't played that great recently. And so, yeah, she hasn't played that great. I don't think she's the best player in the SEC this year. It's clearly Michaela Blakes, and I have an argument for Michaela Blakes to be possibly the player of the year for the entire country. Madison Booker has not had a great, couple of games, but she is absolutely a star. It's just sometimes she doesn't show up in certain games. In this game, it didn't matter that she didn't show up offensively because ultimately her team got the dub. So yeah, I don't think she's overrated. I think, or at least I guess it depends on how people rated her to begin with. I think everybody just knew she's a really good player. She can just be spotty at times. And this season, she's been pretty spotty. Especially yesterday. All right. Next up, let's talk about the conversation that I am excited to talk about, and that is Michaela Blakes. Michaela Blakes. Oh my goodness. Michaela Blakes is so stinking fantastic. She's so good. And I want to just talk about the case for Michaela Blakes winning the National Player of the Year. Now, I know that Sarah Strong is a contender and whatnot, and Sarah Strong is fantastic. But truly, Michaela Blakes is having a season that is just insane, and she's having it in the SEC. To me, that's the most impressive thing. I think when we talk about Player of the Year, it needs to be somebody from the SEC this season. It needs to be somebody from the SEC because the SEC has basically been the hardest league for people to play in. And so, to me, the player of the year, National Player of the Year, should be this season somebody in the SEC. And today, I'm going to make the case specifically for Michaela Blakes. So, Michaela Blakes, so far this year, has had, actually not 7 anymore. Actually, she's had 8, actually. She had 7 going into yesterday's game against Vandy. Oh, heads up, Vandy destroyed Oklahoma. Destroyed Oklahoma 102-86. Now, okay, just a heads up, I will have in future streams and future segments, I will have segments where I make the case for other players. But today, I am specifically making the case for Michaela Blakes. All right? So don't be like, oh, but what about this person? What about this person? I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking specifically about Michaela Blakes today. Okay? I'll talk about your favorite player another time. But specifically about Michaela Blakes. So far this season, she has just kind of been unstoppable. Yesterday, she was absolutely great. Her and Aubrey Galvin was like fantastic dynamic duo against Oklahoma. Michaela Blakes ended up having 36 points in that game, or 34, I should say, in that game, had 6 assists as well. And you can't say that, oh, Michaela Blakes is good, but she doesn't play as well against top teams. And I will say this. Look at this list. Look at this list. All right. She had 37 points against Kentucky, who at the time was number 16. Right? She had 32 points against LSU, which is still top 5 team. Yes, has Michaela Blakes, had some struggles of games? Absolutely. But if you look at her game as a whole, so far this season, she's averaging 25.9 points per game. She's shooting it very, very well, 46% overall from the field. This is someone who just shows up when it matters the most. Remember in the loss against Mississippi State, not Mississippi State, Ole Miss, we did see Michaela Blakes put on a show, even though her team lost, but she had 29 points in that game, right? Against LSU, she had 23, right? She struggled against Michigan, and that was a thing, but her team ultimately ended up winning that one. My point is, if we look at the various games that Vandy has played this year, Michaela Blakes is the only reason why they won most of their games so far this year. Yes, Vandy does have some talent on the team, but it begins and ends with Michaela Blakes. It does. I think she is someone who can not just score the basketball for Vandy, but she's a really willing passer. Like this girl, she's willing to pass the basketball and get her teammates involved and make stuff happen. And when it comes down to it, when it comes down to big shots, that's what she does all day long. And so, in my opinion, the best player in the SEC is Michaela Blakes. In terms of performance this season is Michaela Blakes. And one of the best players, if not the best player, in the biggest moments in the country is Michaela Blakes, because she's the best player in the best league in the country. And yes, she has had some games where she struggled. Like, this is not me forgetting, some of the struggles that she's had. But even with her struggling against South Carolina, she still had. Now, her shooting percentage was not very good. But even in that game against South Carolina, she had 23 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds against South Carolina in a not so great game where she shot 37% from the field. Like, still. She still did that, though South Carolina destroyed them. So, like, that's something. My point is, Michaela Blakes is fantastic. When we talk about best players in the country, we got to talk about players who show up. Players who are in some ways, the end-all, be-all for their team. Players who play against the best almost every night. And it goes to Michaela Blakes. She can get to the rim whenever she wants, really. She has a shot. She can score just about everywhere on the court. And if you want to stay up on her and play some heavy defense, well, she knows how to pass. She can get her teammates involved as well. And so to me, it shows her greatness. It shows her greatness. And so, yeah, 8 30-point games on the season. I mean, I literally just said she shot 37% from the field, like, which is atrocious. Yeah, we all know that. I'm not saying she had the greatest of games against South Carolina. My point is, even in a struggle fest of a game, she still is productive for her team. Though inefficient at times. But for the most part, not inefficient, because she's shooting around 46% on the season. And so, yes, that game against South Carolina was bad. And still led to offensive production, though inefficient offensive production. What I'm trying to say is that one game against South Carolina, to me, does not disqualify her from being in my running for Player of the Year. Now, I'll have other videos where I talk about other players, but I really do think that she is doing her thing. She is absolutely doing her thing, and I don't think you can deny it. The top 2 players in the country for points per game is Audie Crooks and Michaela Blakes. Audie Crooks, 25.9 points per game. Michaela Blakes, 25.6 points per game. I mean, what are we talking about? All right. All right. Ken says, who you want on your team? Sarah, I assume that means Sarah Strong, or Michaela. I mean, I'm going to say Sarah Strong. Yeah, I'm going to say Sarah Strong all day, every day. But I don't think that means that Michaela Blakes has not had a better season than Sarah, because of the Big East versus the SEC. I mean, even if you count the tougher non-conference games that UConn has had, I think they pale in comparison to the SEC. And so, yeah, I would want Sarah over. I would want Sarah over Michaela. I would want Sarah over basically everybody in women's college basketball, with the exception of maybe Juju Watkins, a healthy Juju. But yeah, Sarah Strong is, to me, she's just a different type of player. right? She's just a different type of player. But Michaela Blakes has had a better season than Sarah Strong because of who she goes against. And so, yeah. Those are my thoughts. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. All right? Thank y'all so much for watching. And I will see y'all in the next one. Let me find my... Oh, also, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if we see an announcement in at least maybe today or tomorrow about Angel Reese joining Unrivaled. Just saying. I'm fairly certain it's happening. All right? Made a video about it yesterday talking about it. I'm fairly certain. So get ready for that announcement later today or tomorrow or something like that. I think it'll be big for Unrivaled. I really do think it's happening. What do y'all think? Y'all think I'm crazy? Y'all think it's happening too? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.